We're on page 51. Real quick, let's change this 50 on this example to 200. All right, so we are talking about solving scale problems. And usually these problems, and I'm sorry you can't see this very well, it's a lot darker in your journal. But usually scale problems are on maps. I know a lot of the time toy makers use scale as well. They take something that's really large in real life and they shrink it down to like a little small size version, like Hot Wheels are examples, or those little pet figurines like little horses or dinosaurs that you used to play with when you were younger. They took the actual animal and they scaled it down to where you could hold it in your hand. So those are, toy makers use proportion and ratios all the time using scale. All right, they want it to actually look like the actual item. They want the toy to look like the actual item. So here's a map, I know you can't see it very well, of North Carolina. And it's saying that here is the scale right here. It's 1 centimeter on the actual map, okay? 1 centimeter on the map is 75 kilometers on the actual land. So our map has a scale of 1 centimeter compared to 75 kilometers on actual land. So it's a ratio. We're comparing to distance on the map to distance on the actual land. So if the width of North Carolina is 787.5 kilometers, how many centimeters wide is North Carolina on the map? So right here, we're going to put our scale. Our scale is 1 centimeter to 75 kilometers. So we're going to set it up in a proportion like we've been doing for the last week. So we have centimeters over kilometers. So on this side, we're going to have centimeters over kilometers. And so we have, okay, 787 and 5/10 kilometers. That's our third number. All right, so since it's labeled kilometers, we're going to put it with kilometers. And so we're looking for how many centimeters on the map, okay, is 787.5 kilometers. So I don't see any easy way here. An easy way here would be divide by 7, but when we cross multiply 787.5 times 1, we get 787.5, or it doesn't change, and then we're going to divide by, I'm sorry, not 7, 75. Divide by 75. So this should have been 1 centimeter to 75 kilometers. I'm sorry. That goes straight off our scale that was on our map. So we're going to divide by 75. So 787.5 divide by 75. So we don't need to move our decimal here. So this goes straight up. And now we get to ignore it. So 75 goes into 7, 0 times. 75 goes into 78, 1 time. I notice I'm putting it right above the 8. Bring your 7 down. 75 goes into 37. That's 0 times. Bring your 5 down. 75 goes into 375, exactly 5 times. So we get a remainder of 0. So 10.5 centimeters on the map. And again, remember, if you want to get a calculator and check it, 75 times 10.5 would equal 787.5 times 1. When you sword fight or fraction battle, they should be equal because it says they're equal. And it's a proportion. We know proportions are 2 equivalent ratios. So let's look at example 2. Kate is traveling from San Angelo to Ballinger. She is looking at the map and sees that the scale, so they're not giving us a map, they're giving us the scale straight in the problem. Sees that the scale is 1 inch to 20 miles. So 1 inch on the map is 20 miles in real life on the land. She then uses the ruler to measure a distance of 50 miles. So she uses a ruler and realizes it's 50 miles, but she's not telling us how far it was on the map. So how far apart are the cities on the map? So again, we're going to put our scale here, 1 inch to 20 miles. And since we're saying inches over miles, we're saying inches over miles. then use a ruler to measure a distance of 50 miles. So she uses a ruler, she figures out how many inches, and then she converts it. So it's a little tricky the way they're saying it. 50 miles. So now we're trying to find out how many inches on the map is 50 miles. So we're going to cross multiply because I don't see an easy way. So 50 times 1, that's pretty easy, divided by 20. So cross multiplying and dividing will work every single time when you're trying to solve a proportion. So 50 divided by 20. 20 goes into 50 2 times. All right, so remember, when you get here, you're not young anymore, right? We say we're not in 5th grade, so we're not going to put our remainder up here. We're going to put a decimal in our answer. That decimal gives us permission to drop a 0, okay, from our dividend. Not from our answer, from our dividend. So now 20 goes into 100 5 times, and we get our remainder of 0. So it's 2.5 inches on the map is 50 miles. So 2.5 inches. All right, so it says example, Tate's traveling from San Antonio to Wall. She's looking at the map and sees that the scale is 1 inch to 50 miles. They're giving you the scale. Then she uses the ruler to measure a distance of 200 miles. Again, they're figuring out how much it is on the ruler, and they're giving us the miles. So we have to be kind of careful with that. So scale is 1 inch compared to 50 miles on the actual land. So we're going to put inches over miles. And they're giving us 200 miles. So I'm looking how many inches is 200 miles. So I'm going to cross multiply. 200 times 1 is 200 divided by 50. So 200 divided by 50. 50 goes into 2, no. 20, no. 200, 4 times. So it's going to be 4 inches on the map.